Today is Wednesday, May the 7th. Big announcement. Took the first step towards this whole idea of getting into the US, and I incorporated a company. Yeah, I have a technology company, OndeWork.com, and we've been using Stripe for the last couple of years. And Stripe has a service called Atlas, and I was able today to use the Atlas service to incorporate a company in the US. It was actually pretty slick. I got all of my documents. I think it takes a couple of days for someone to kind of look them over, but I was able to get my what do we got here? We got a certificate of formation, we've got a form 8821, I've got an LLC operating agreement, I got an SS4, and it sounds like now the next steps would be to get a mailing address. And the company that I think I'm going to be using to do that is a company called Stable. I think that's what they're called. Um, so I need a mailing address. I'm going to use Open Phone to get a phone number once I have an address. And I filled out the paperwork for it's called a W-7, and that gives me an ITIN number, which is required in order for me to, I think, open a bank account and do some other things. So anyway, I don't have all the answers yet, but I took the first step and did, in fact, form the company. We'll most likely be looking for a lawyer now, maybe to make just some tweaks, but off we go. And so the hope would be that in the next couple of months, I can put a business plan together. And of course, if I continue to vlog and blog about it, you'll get to hear how I make out in that regard. And then the website, the platform already lists one major city in each of the 50 states, in addition to four Canadian cities. And so now my goal is to look to generate an inflection point where I can consistently kick out US revenue, but now sort of rearrange things so that all of that can get into our American bank account, because I've got to get over that $100,000 threshold, maybe a little more than that in the bank account, because when I submit my business plan and my E2 visa application, there is a cash requirement, and it has to be cash at risk that is sitting in the United States. At least that's how I understand it right now. So off I go. It's kind of a big day, pretty excited about it. In other news, our family's off to Spain this year, as we have been for the last couple of years, and we made the decision. There's a young family in our church that is was looking. They're kind of between places. They're looking for something, and we just finished offering up our place to them while we're gone. And instead of just giving it to them for the 3 months, it looks like they'll be in our home until the spring. So that means we are without a home between the months of kind of December and March. So not totally sure what's going to come together. We've got some ideas we've been talking about, Lisa and I, as a family. So we'll see what ultimately happens there, but it'll be very, very exciting. And this coming Friday at the weekly project manager meeting that I'm a part of, I'll be introducing our team, hopefully, to our new bookkeeper slash controller, who is going to take about 20 hours worth of work off of my desk, because that's really kind of the only job I have, is keeping our finances in line. There's just a bunch of financial stuff that I do because that's my skill set. It's what I'm really good at. But I also have to be focused now on sort of making a pivot in anticipation of leaving at the end of the summer again. But I'd like to leave our team in good hands. And that means I've got to find the right people for the right jobs. And part of the right people for the right jobs includes me not necessarily being the bottleneck on the finance side. So we've got a fella coming in. He's an experienced accountant. He's got decades of experience. It just so happens that he's part of the local Latino marketplace, which is a pretty big, community here in Calgary. I've got lots of experience working with them because of our OndeWork platform and just the nature of what our construction business does. We interact with the Latino community on a daily basis, and so he's coming over in that capacity. He's on a student visa, so he's learning all of the Canadian accounting rules, and he can only work 20 hours a week. But by the time I leave at the end of the summer, he should be able to take on a full-time role. And it's kind of neat because we're not big enough that we need a full-time role. We need a part-time role, but he has aspirations to start a bookkeeping service in September. And so I had shared with him that if everything goes well on Friday, I'd love to have him join the team, but more importantly, be able to invest in a bookkeeping service and give him any resources that he might need in order to do that. And we'd be his first client. And we'd look to hopefully help him get some more clients. And that's consistent with the other individual that's in our business right now. One of our site supervisors also has a labor company that he runs, and we've been helping him with that. And so I'm out of this little construction company. We've got some really great people that I'm hoping I can support and serve. And on Friday, we're going to figure out if this guy's a fit. And that's all moving in a direction towards freeing me up so that I can focus on expanding into the US with either a new construction business, an existing one, or just the technology company. I've only registered the technology company. So as it stands today, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Um, but it'll be neat to see what happens on Friday. And then hopefully, if everything works out, by the time I leave, we will have added a few more site supervisors to our team as well, and just restructured how we manage ourselves, because the way we manage ourselves currently doesn't work when we're on a trajectory to double our size this year. And that sounds impressive because it is. It's a pretty big deal, but it really gets us at a run rate that creates a much more sustainable, stable business. And again, my job as the entrepreneur is not to get in the way, but to make sure everyone has what they need, to make sure we're capitalized properly, to set the vision for what we need to do, but really to spend my time investing in people. And I really like doing that anyway. So this is really, really great. A lot of fun. And who knows, hopefully going into the following year, it'll be 1 year, hopefully 1 year this month, that we'll successfully get an E2 visa and be in the United States. So I can cut my teeth on getting us really stable here in Canada before going to the US. And as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm almost halfway through the E-Myth. It's a good book to read. If you haven't read it, it's timeless almost. It depends, it sort of seems to fit whatever time frame you're in. And it's a good reminder that as an entrepreneur, we can get in our own way. We can also get in the way of others. And at some point, a company has to be sustainable on its own. And we can't just, as entrepreneurs or owners, we can't just hands off the whole thing without making sure that everyone has what they need and they're all working to the best of their abilities and fully utilizing their skills. And our construction company isn't quite there yet, but my goal in the next couple months is to make sure that we've done that. And so very, very exciting. So to wrap this episode today, if it was like, do I go? Do I stay? For sure, today is a go day.